Hey Kunal.
Good morning.
Yeah, it's good evening here. Good
Sorry, good
morning.
evening.
Yeah. Okay, great. So we've got a few viewers up already. Uh,
Okay.
and for the viewers just joining in, uh, just go ahead and say hi so that we know you're here, so that we just have a count of how many people are here. And so my name is Advait Dandekar, and I'm the founder of Coursework Career Solutions. I'll get more into what we do soon in a small presentation. And then I just spend 1 minute talking about who Kazob is, and then we'll straight go into the webinar. So great, let's start. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see the PPT. So yeah, so we have a career development venture. Explore, engage, elevate your career is our mantra. And in today's webinar, we are hosting Kunal Gandhi, who is a CPIM and CSCP certified. And the title is Certifications in Industrial Engineering and Supply Chain Management with Kunal Gandhi. So just a little bit about who we are. So we are a career development platform for the advancement of all the stakeholders in the education and corporate world. So be it students, professionals, universities, corporates, or even career development services. And the primary medium for us to create engagement in between all of these stakeholders is through webinars for now. So great. So just an agenda. We just start with who Kunal Gandhi is. Actually, he'll be talking about who he is. And then we just give you a broad, we just try to lay the foundations by just talking a little bit about the importance of getting certified in whatever field you are in. And then we talk about two particular certifications in the field of operations, industrial engineering, supply chain management, which are the certified production and inventory management and the certified supply chain professional. So yeah, and then we'll have a Q&A with Kunal. For each of the slides, we'll also ask Kunal to give his inputs because, to get some subjective information from him. So great. So if any of you guys have just joined in, just say hello, and just let us know who you are in terms of, are you a student or are you a working professional? So that we know, so we can customize the webinar accordingly. Great. So upfront, we just make a declaration quickly that we nor the speaker endorse any of the certifications mentioned in this webinar. And the objective of this webinar is to share the speaker's unique experiences and information as of the date of this webinar. And please refer to the official bodies such as those who provide certifications for answers to your objective questions. So in terms of what's the cost of giving the exams, how long does it take to do the certifications, etc., etc. Make sure you're using the bodies for those. Okay, so great, Kunal. So I'll hand it over to you to talk about yourself. So can you just give a brief introduction about yourself? I'm going to show the slides so that you remember also. Yeah. Okay.
I can't see the slide properly.
Oh. Okay.
But no problem.
Okay.
So yes, I'm Kunal Gandhi. I work as a production planner in a manufacturing facility. So my daily job is to make production plans and work on the supply chain logistics aspect of the company. That's in a nutshell of what I do and who I am.
Okay. Okay. So apart from that, about your background in terms of, say where
Sure.
you did engineering from, etc.
Sure. So I did my undergraduate or bachelor's in production engineering,
Okay.
and then I did my master's in industrial engineering and management.
Okay.
I graduated in 2012, and I have been working in the same facility since that time.
Okay. Great. So apart from that, Kunal is a Six Sigma Yellow Belt certified It's a CPIM and a CSCP. So let's get into it. Okay, so why certifications? So the first three obvious reasons why I get certified in any particular field are because you get better chances of getting hired, you get an increase in salary, and you get to learn more about your industry, and you can get to do your job better. But there are also two other advantages which people don't really think about many times, and those are networking. So when you're doing these certifications, you get a lot of opportunities to form groups and to really network with people from the industry. And that's really useful for future. If you want to reach out to them for any help, if you want to reach out to them for job prospects, etc. And also, it shows employers that you're really committed to your profession. When employers see that okay, this person has taken the extra effort and he's done the certifications, so which means that he is dedicated to this particular profession. So the chances of him staying longer are probably higher. So Kunal, do you have any thoughts on these points of why get certified? I hope you can read this. I hope you can read them now, like the points.
Yes, I can read them, and
Okay, great.
I agree with you. Good points, and you are absolutely right. Please don't do these certifications because you probably want a job or you want a raise. Do this because you want to continue to keep learning, and that is what I guess is important. And these certifications certify that this particular individual is interested in learning about this field. Another thing that I wanted to put on the table is that it also gives you an opportunity to brainstorm and with like-minded people. So, for example, there are certain certifications or certain bodies, if you are a member of, you get an opportunity to participate in their conferences, in their seminars, and when you do that, you meet these different these people coming from different field where they talk about, for example, supply chain. There are so many supply chains, so many different fields. So you get to meet these different people, and they share about their experiences, which is sometimes worth listening to. So,
Okay, great. So, do you have any instances in which like you have used your network? So, I think the other day you were telling me about how you went to, I think, airbase, because of some networking.
yeah, yeah, sure. So we had this networking event, or they call it as a professional development meeting, and we went to a base where they used to repair and rework airplanes, and it was a big facility. I don't remember how big it was, but let's say it was massive. And
Okay.
we went to this facility where they were completely stripping the plane down and reworking on all parts of it, and then again rebuilding it. And like the whole facility had two runways inside the whole building, so it was big.
Okay.
So in there they were doing a lot of continuous improvements, and they were committed to do improvements every day. So it was
Okay.
good to see that. So it was interesting.
Okay, great. Um, okay,
And
thank
also there's this saying, right? It's not what you know, it's who you know that is important.
you.
So
Right, right.
so that
Yeah,
plays a role.
yeah. So, like, as you spend more time in the industry, you really realize how important networking is, and you can never do enough of it. Even though it does get annoying sometimes to like, go and talk
Yeah,
the same things, but you have to do it.
correct. And it's and then you have this then you get this feeling that how little you know. Yeah,
Right.
and that is good. So
Okay.
that's why.
Okay, great. So now that we know like what the benefits of doing certifications are, let's go on to the first certification that we're going to discuss, and that is the Certified in Production and Inventory Management. These two particular stats that I've put up, which are 14% increase in salary and 65% improved hiring potential, those have been uh, those have been taken from the website of the body that that actually gives the certification, which is the APIX. So yeah, so I would say that you can take these numbers with a pinch of salt. So yeah, so it results in a 14% increase in salary and a 65% improve in hiring potential. Kunal, like, do you think? I mean, like, you don't have to really tell us how much your salary increased by, but do you think that there was a difference in your salary after you got the CPIM certification?
I hope it will be, because it is an investment
Okay,
for my future. So
right. Okay, okay. So when did you do the certification?
so I came to know about this certificate when I was doing when I was studying for my master's, and a professor told about this in a course. So
Hmm.
this particular certificate is I think it's given, yeah, it's given by Apex. The body is Apex, APICS,
Right.
and Apex is kind of the community for operations management.
Yeah.
So and for this certificate, there are different modules that you have to pass to get this certificate. So I did a couple of modules when I was studying.
Okay.
Then then when I started working, the my employer kind of pushed me to complete this, and they
Hmm.
kind of supported me to do this.
Oh,
So
great.
I did the others when I started working. So
Okay, awesome. Uh, so you started sometime around 2012, and you actually completed all the modules when?
I think 2014. I'll have to.
Okay, so
I'm not sure, but yeah,
okay, great.
2014 should be right. Yeah.
Okay, so I've actually made a list of some of the main modules. Maybe you can talk more about them. I don't know if you can read the slide right now. Can
I
you?
I cannot. But
Okay, that's fine. So the first one is basics of supply chain management. Then it's the master planning of resources. Then it's on scheduling and planning, execution and control of operations, and then strategic management of resources. So can you
right.
talk about, say, the first one, which is the basics of supply chain management?
Sure. So all of those who have joined right now, again, CPIM is Certified in Production and Inventory Management. So to get certified in production and inventory management, you got to know the basics. So the first module just talks about basics of supply chain management. It talks about what a supply chain is, and what are the different components and how they get linked, and how why it is important. So it is a pretty simple uh, module, and it was actually, now I can see the slide, Advait. You did something.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I did something.
Uh, okay. So
Okay.
yeah, it talks about the basics of
Mhm.
SCM.
Okay.
The second module is planning of resources. It talks about the different planning principles, and how to plan your different resources, how to do capacity planning, and all of that. So all these modules are structured. They all overlap,
Okay.
and that is by design. So if you do your first module, then you jump to the second one, then you naturally go to the third one. So they are
Right.
naturally designed. So by the time you reach the fifth one, that is strategic management of resources,
Mhm.
it is kind of the combination of whatever you have studied so far.
Okay, great. And
Uh,
you said that
and
you did the first two modules while you were still in college. So was there any overlap between, say, like what you were studying while doing your masters and the CPIM?
Oh, absolutely. The first
Okay.
three modules I did when I was studying, and the course that I took talked a lot about planning and scheduling. So that helped me, and that kind of pushed me. And when I started working, I started using I started working in the same field. So
Mhm.
fortunately, it was nice to get real life examples while studying. So that helps while doing
Right.
CPIM. Now again, the modules that you have, I heard, I think 3 months ago, that Apex was going to change the structure of CPIM.
Oh, okay.
So maybe they will revise it to 2 modules or 3 modules,
Right.
but the
Okay.
content of the examination will still remain the same. So if someone right now is thinking that, goodness, there are 5 modules, I don't have the time to do it, well, find time, because it's going to be 2 module, or I think 2 module course now
Okay.
in
Right.
2017. But that should not stop you from studying right now. So read the website before you take your decision.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so just a reminder for the viewers, if you've joined in late, if you scroll down the window, if you're using your cell phone or your laptop, whatever it is, if you just scroll down to the window, you'll be able to actually see a section in which you can send in questions or comments. It would be great if you could just send in a hello so that we know you are here. Because we typically send emails to the people who have not attended, like telling them to we're telling them to watch the replay, etc. So then we won't send you those emails, so that we won't harrow you with emails. And yeah, and like don't wait for the end of the webinar to ask the questions. As and when you think of the questions, just keep sending them in. And if we can take them while the webinar is going on, or we may take them at the end of the webinar. So yeah, so let's continue. Okay. So the next part of this uh, is uh, uh, is who is it for? So is it for? Okay, one sec. Okay, great. So now, Kunal, who is the CPIM Canvas? Who is the CPIM certification for?
So CPM is for operations management people. It gives you a good insight on supply chain. It gives you basics of supply chain, but it talks more about scheduling, planning, management of resources. So
Okay.
if you are involved in this, or if you are slightly inclined towards doing this kind of a job, this is the certificate that you go for. Now again, CPM is usually done by people who work, who have already started working. So if you are right now
Right.
studying and you already make the commitment of doing some of the modules, the employer knows that, okay, this guy really wants to work in this field. So it's a side note.
Okay. Fantastic. Okay, great. So we don't have any questions so far for the CPIM. So we'll just continue ahead with the next one. And now the next one is the CSCP canvas. So the CSCP is a certified supply chain and management professional. And again, these numbers, 21% and yeah, this number 21% increase in salary is from the Apex website. So again, take it with a pinch of salt. I didn't really find a number of by what percentage your hiring potential improves. So yeah. Kunal, can you talk about like when did you start doing the CSCP certification and when did you actually get it?
Sure. I started it after I did my CPM. So I think I want to say January or February of this year. And
Okay.
I completed it in July, September, but
Okay.
in September, this last September. But by no means these are the world standards. I took a lot of time to study everything.
Okay. 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 So you took, so like how many hours typically per week did you spend on these, how many hours per week did you spend on both of these certifications, both the CSCP and the CPIM?
I can definitely say for CSCP, in the last week, I was doing it. I was studying it constantly for 4 hours.
Okay.
Because I finally realized that I was way back. So CSCP is just one exam. There are not different modules. Uh,
Okay.
CPIM, quite frankly, I don't remember. It would be, but it would be the same.
Okay. So, okay. So now in terms of the coursework, or rather yeah, in terms of the coursework, can you talk a little bit about the coursework and maybe you can even touch upon how it is different from the CPIM?
Uh, it is different from CPIM because it talks about your end-to-end supply chain. So it talks about how to build a relationship, or it 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 shows you who your supplier are, and then it shows
Okay.
you kind of who the end customer is. So
Okay.
your focus of managing your operations that goes to you look at things from a what do you call a 30,000 feet level. You
Right.
start seeing that you get the complete overview of a small change at your facility, how it impacts the others. And
Mm-hmm.
that is what is important, because if they fail, you fail. So you have to think about all of them. It also talks a lot about different metrics, different risk mitigation scenarios. So it kind of empowers you to start looking at your supply chain instead of silos. You start seeing that, okay, if I make this change in my facility,
Mm-hmm.
what happens at the customer, or what happens at the supplier. So
Okay.
it gives you an overview on supply chain. That is why it's called certified supply chain professional. Talks about supply
Right.
chain.
Right. Okay, great. So we actually have our first question. This question is from Rakesh, and he's asking: is that does he need to have professional experience to do the CPIM exam?
You don't, but if you go to the website, they tell you what you need to give that exam. So if you have professional experience, great. It's good. But if you do it while studying, it will show more drive and more motivation to your employer, or at least start. I'm not even asking you to complete it, but the website will exactly tell, because not everyone can give CSCP. You need to have some kind of background to do it. So
Okay. Okay.
he asked about CPIM, but I will extend
Yes.
the question to CSCP. For
Yeah.
C,
Please do that. Yeah.
so for CPIM, it's good if you have professional experience, so that you can relate to what you are studying. You have some real life examples. But if you think you are a bright student, you can definitely do it while studying. And there are a lot of students who have done that.
Okay.
But CSCP has some prerequisites, if you may say.
Okay. Great. So now, in terms of the coursework for the CSCP, is there any overlap between the CSCP and the CPIM?
Uh, Minor overlap, because
Okay.
CPIM also has supply chain management, but it does not go into details.
Okay. Okay. And can you talk a little bit more about the supply chain improvements and the best practices section? Because I would think that this is a very hands-on part. Like the best you can learn about the supply chain improvements and best practices by actually, just spending time at a distribution center or somewhere like that.
Correct.
Yeah. So
Correct.
like,
So let's take an example. Supply chain improvements. Sometimes we are so focused on doing improvements that we forget that it doesn't hit the bottom line. For example, if a product is getting moved from point A to point B,
mhm.
uh, you might come up with a solution that, why not we draw yellow stripes on both sides of the pavement so that it's very visual. Well, it's
Right.
good, but it doesn't hit the bottom line. And don't mean I'm demeaning that you should not have visual parameters. You should have, but
Yeah.
but but you want to do improvements which kind of hit the bottom line. So why not ask your say accounting or finance department, ask them for what metrics they look at. Say, for example, how
Right.
quickly inventory moves throughout the facility, so you don't have that much working capital captured. So if they say right now it takes 5 days to move this whole inventory,
Mhm.
work on crunching the lead time, work on improvements, work on standard work where you will reduce from 5 to 3 days, and probably save 2 days of worth, which is equivalent to so much amount of dollars or rupees.
Right.
So and best practices would be, if I work in a facility which say manufactures glasses, so my inventory throughput would be, say, 5 days inventory turnover. But
Mhm.
but if I start benchmarking, another factory making the same thing in the same industry can do it in 3 days. Then this is the best practice. So now I have to copy it. Now I have to kind of get inspired by that and implement it at my facility.
Yeah.
So it's continuous. So when you get to 3, we'll push it to 2. So it's
Okay.
continuous improvement. So that is why it is important.
Okay. Great. So let's move on to the next part about who is the CSCP for? Like, who's the typical person like who should give the CSCP certification, for example?
Well, my view on this is, in my opinion, uh, anyone who is dealing in buying kind of logistics, order management, of course, supply chain analysts, supply chain managers.
Yeah.
But I think the body who offers this certificate has a detailed information of who it
Right.
should be for, and they have all these kind of surveys and different chapters you can talk to about. So I would
Right.
suggest go and talk to them
Okay.
uh,
Great.
if you're
Um,
not sure.
yeah. So actually, these particular points I've got from their website itself.
Okay, okay,
So yeah.
nice.
Okay, so can you talk a little bit about the difference between like who a supply chain manager is, like who a procurement guy is, and who a transportation guy is?
Sure. Now, different industries define them differently, but I would say a procurement manager
Mm-hmm.
or a procurement department works on sourcing. They work on different vendors. If you want to buy something, if it's going to be long term and they want to give it to a different supplier, they go and talk to them and all of that. They negotiate
Okay.
prices and stuff like that. So they can work on consolidation, again, a very important part of supply chain. Depends on what kind of strategy you want to go into.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so they kind of do that. A supply chain manager would be more on the logistics part of it, more on the order management part of it, who manages these suppliers.
Right.
And so again, they work together. They have to work together. So in some companies, they are the same guy, and everything is under
Mm-hmm.
one person. But a
Yeah.
supply chain manager would be who would be driving these improvements, who would be with the help of procurement, of course. So say if they
Okay.
want to work with a supplier and ask for a special kind of packaging, they would put that in their contract, and that's where procurement comes in. The sourcing starts coming in. So they work hand in hand.
Okay. Okay. So we have another question actually, and it's from Rakesh again. Kunal, so like, this is a it's a very detailed question. So it's okay if you can't answer it. Okay, but I'll put it across anyways. That so there is a clause showing that one needs to maintain 75 professional points to maintain the certification.
Yeah,
Do you have any knowledge about that?
yeah. But can you read his complete question, or is that his complete question?
Yeah, sure. So there is a clause showing I need to maintain 75 professional points to maintain the certification. What is this about?
Sure. So one thing that we spoke about when we started this seminar was uh, learning about new things. Well, learning about
Mhm.
new things cannot stop after you get a certificate.
Right.
So what these guys usually do, or every professional certification usually does, is it motivates you to continue learning. So for Apex, I know they do this by asking you to maintain 75 points. Now, how do you maintain these points? And you have to maintain them over a period of 5 years. So, say for example, I right now I got CSCP
Mm-hmm.
in October 2016. So now I have time till the next 5 years to 2021
Mm-hmm.
to earn 75 points to maintain my designation. The way
Okay.
I earn these 75 points is it's on their website. You can go to different seminars, different conferences, and earn points. So if I go to a Apex conference, I don't know, I get the maximum of 24 points. If you learn something new, let's say if you did another certificate with another body. So basically, if you show the drive of continuously learning and keeping up with the new trends, you
Mm-hmm.
get points for it. And
Okay.
each certification body says that you get 2 points if you do this, you get 8 points if you do this, you get 10 points if you watch this video. So
Okay.
it is basically a way to make sure that the person who has these certificates. So if someone says I have been CSCP for the last 25 years, uh, you already know that this guy is up to date with the trends. He's not talking something which used to happen in 1940s.
Right. Right. Okay, that's
So
fantastic.
yeah, so it's 75 points. Rakesh is right.
Okay. Okay.
So
Great.
for example, let's take my example. Uh,
Yeah.
I got CPIM in 2014.
Mhm.
Now I had 5 years to earn more points, more 75 points. So
Okay.
I kind of did. I got CSCP now, so I get some points for that
Ah.
to
Okay. Okay.
to put. So then while studying for CSCP, I gave some practice exams. So even that counts as points. So that's how you maintain points. If Rakesh, if this is not clear, please ask the question again.
Yeah, and Rakesh, if you have any more such questions that are pertaining, especially to you, you can use our Facebook event to ask Kunal this particular question even after the webinar, so that he can help you over there. So maybe you can do some more research and then you can ask him more questions. Kunal, if you can answer some questions there, it would be fantastic.
Sure, sure. Feel free to
Okay,
ask questions.
okay, great. So, okay, so Kunal, that's as far as the CPIM and CSCP certifications are concerned. And the audience, if you have any more questions that are related to both those certifications, please send them out, and we'll be happy to answer them during the course of this webinar. So Kunal, you do have some other certifications. You're also like learning some courses on edX and things like that. Can you talk about those a little bit?
Sure, sure. So again, just like would like to remind everyone that by no means Advait or I or Kazorb is saying that you need to do these certifications or these are really nice or these are bad, since we didn't talk about them.
Yeah.
There are a lot of them. So you don't have to do the certifications that I did or someone else is doing. There's this website called Google. Search search as many as certifications as you can find, and if you find something interesting,
Yeah.
post them in the Facebook page or give them to Advait so that he can share with us. It's all
Yeah.
about sharing, right? So one of the things that I saw was there's this, of course, everyone knows about edX, and they have these courses, and I saw a supply chain course over there, which is being taught by some professors in the United States. And the USP of this course would be that they are very credible. But the other thing was, they were for people like me. They are free. You don't have to pay anything. So I signed up I signed up for this course on edX, and it's going to run till January 2017. It just started, I think 2 weeks ago. And it talks about supply chain. It talks about different models that you use in supply chain. It's just like a course. They have graded assignments, and if you want a certificate, you pay something, and if you don't want a certificate, fine, just learn. So and there are, I think, a lot of them on edX. So go to edX or Google them. There are many other websites like edX who offers courses. So there's that. And then there's this other certificate, the second one, CLTD. That's a new one, and it's again the same. It's from Apex again, and it just started, I think, 2-3 months ago. So I'm not sure. I haven't received any feedback, but it looks interesting. It talks more about transportation and the freight part of the world. So all you guys who are interested in export and learning about freight, yeah, you don't necessarily have to be in that field to learn something. You can learn about rocket science if you want to. You don't have to be in NASA or ISRO to do that. So feel free to just venture in and see what CLTD or edX has to offer. Then there's, of course, these Six Sigma lean courses, which I did, but I did them when I was studying, so a long time ago.
Okay.
Then yes, there is ISM has certain courses. There's CPSM that you have. It's not from Apex. It's from someone else. But again, I have heard about it. It's a credible certificate. There's, I think, also project management certificates there, PMP. So
Yeah, right.
Keep.
Okay, so we haven't. So that's, I think, the third one that we've mentioned on this slide.
Oh, you have another slide. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
See, there are so many certificates.
Yeah, these are just a few. I mean, there are many more. So.
I agree. So again, yeah, don't do 20-25 certificates and start investing a lot of money. Pick and choose. Make a plan. Say in 2016, I want to start this certificate. By 2017, I'll start another one. So maybe that's how you want to approach it. But yeah, keep doing that so that we know, everyone knows that you are interested in learning and improving yourself.
Right. Yeah. So I just wanted to mention one thing over here, that so many of the students who I interact with, they also ask this question, like what certification should I do? And honestly, yeah, the question like what certification should I do? Like which school should I go for my masters, etc. But honestly, it all depends on what your own career goals are. So I think a great starting point is to actually think of what your career goals are in terms of what company you want to work at and what function you want to work at. And then you can use LinkedIn. You can go to LinkedIn and you can see who are the people who are working in these particular companies, say where you want to work, and you can see what their professional background is. And if you can see a trend, that typically, like for example, typically the people who end up working, say in marketing for Nike in California, that those guys are typically from UCLA Anderson, the business school. So like these small points can give you some direction to your career. It is a bit of a cumbersome process, but it's finally your career that you're talking about. So it's very important that you do your own research, and then you can obviously like use a career counselor, you can use a mentor, like just to kind of fine tune everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is good advice. You are right. If anyone is not, they should be a part of a. They should at least be part of a professional network, uh, virtual networking platform, a professional one. That is very important. I did that very late, but
Okay.
Advait is right. Instead of asking everyone, you should just go into that website and see what people have already done. So I kind of still do that for and see what different certifications are required in a job description that
Right.
I want to be part of, say 10 years from now.
Yeah.
So that kind of helps.
Okay. Great. So moving on, yeah. So actually, we are done with the main points. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask them. We've already got a few questions already come in, and we do have time for some more. So please do send them in. So let's move on to the questions. I'm just gonna stop sharing my screen so that you can see me. Okay, so the first question is from Romel, and he's asking, is the CPIM a physical? It's like, do you have to actually go somewhere and do the course, or is it online? So like, what is the basic model of delivery?
So I did my CPIM in North America, and for I can speak for North America. It You can you can study at home. There are of course classes where you can go and learn about it, which Apex offers, but you can self study them. And when you want to when you are finally ready for a module, there is this exam center where you have to go,
Mhm.
log into a computer, give your test, and then you get the result in 5 minutes after you're done with the test. But then there are certain paper-based testing centers also. Again, I think I don't know if it keeps on changing, but Apex has a center in Bombay for sure. So
Yeah,
see,
it's called. I think it's called Noworks. I think it's Knowerx, but like we'll have to check that. We'll have to confirm that.
exactly. And I had met that guy. He had come to the States for a seminar. So
Okay.
again, go to that any professional website and check this guy. You will find him. So again, I think you just need to self study or take a class for studying, and then
Mhm.
go to this particular center which is certified by Apex and give your test.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So the next question is again from Rakesh, and we actually have time for only two more questions after this. So if you have any questions, please do send them in. We'll take up the most interesting ones, and when I say interesting, I mean the most general ones. So we're trying to get like one question answer that will help as many people as possible. So the next question is from Rakesh again, and he's asking that I'm planning to do masters in the US. How far would a CPIM certificate help me stand out among the other graduates?
Okay, it will. It's all. I'll give you my example. So I completed 3 modules, and when I went for my job interview at
Mm-hmm.
2 places, now this cannot be coincidence. At 2 places, they asked me again that, are you willing to do the other modules? So employers really look at it.
Okay.
So
Okay.
and they asked it in such a way that I could not say no. I was not planning to, so I had to say yes. So it will, but I don't know. When you come for your masters, maybe everyone is doing CPM. Then you probably might have to think a little bit differently. What extra can you do? What else can you do to stand out? So this will surely help. And it's just not CPIM I'm talking about. I'm talking about any certificate.
Okay.
It's yeah.
Okay. Fantastic. So the other question is from Nikita, and she's asking. So I'm doing my MS. I'm in the first year. When is the best time to do this? To do the CPIM?
It's subjective. I did it in summer
Okay.
because I had a lot of time, and
Right.
it was too hot to go outside. So
Mhm.
I kind of did that in during that time frame. But see if there's a course which overlaps with CPIM, so that will help you. And
Okay.
or talk to that professor, see
Right.
if he's willing to take you in that course, and then that would be nice.
Okay. Great. So we don't
And
have. Yeah. Go on. Go on.
sorry, one thing which I wanted to share with everyone who's planning to do any kind of certificate. It's good to plan long term,
Okay.
but execute them, execution is problem then. So I would suggest, get a vision, say plan out for the next 2 years, but then approach it piece by piece.
Hmm.
If the certification has a lot of modules, think 3 months ahead, and just do that module. Just take the plunge. Don't think about how will you do the second module. The first module will help you. Once you gain confidence, go to the second one, go to the third one, go to the fourth one. So approach it piece by piece
Right.
instead of planning long term till 2020 and just doing nothing, just planning. So execute it. Take the plunge.
Okay. Okay. Fantastic. So, so we do have another question, but it seems like a very like individual question that this will only help one person. So,
Okay.
if that person can go to the Facebook event page and ask that question, and if Kunal has the time, I think he will answer it. And
I always, sorry to interrupt again, but I always have times for these things.
okay,
Send us an email and we will be happy to answer that question. All questions are important to us.
yeah, or we can use the Facebook event page. It's simple. So
Okay,
you
yeah,
can
yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think that will be simpler. So that even the other people also can see what the question is, and like they can see it will be kind of like an FAQ section.
And yeah, interesting. Yeah.
Okay, great. So that's all we have time for. Kunal, thanks a lot for coming and talking. I hope that the viewers found this particular webinar useful. And if you didn't, we'll be happy to know why you didn't find it useful. So we will be sending you a webinar feedback form. It would be really helpful to us if you actually fill that up. It'll take you maybe 1 or 2 minutes to fill up. So yeah, that would be great. Um, and yeah, so like the bottom line is that certifications are beneficial in many ways. The certifications we spoke about today about the CPIM and the CSCP, but we are not saying that those are the best certificates. Like you can always explore and see what the other certificates are and what your career goals are. And yeah, and if you have any questions, do send them on the Facebook event page. If you go to the Kazob Career Solutions Facebook page, you'll find the event. Yeah. So okay, thanks a lot, Kunal,
Welcome.
and thanks a lot for coming. Yeah, and thanks a lot for the viewers.
Sure. Okay. Good luck. Good luck, everyone. Bye.
Bye.